Have you ever wondered if the chaos in today's headlines could be part of a divine plan? What if the conflicts shaking nations like Israel and Iran are not just geopolitical struggles, but signs of a celestial narrative unfolding before us? Could these turbulent times be whispering truths from ancient prophecies, calling us to rise above fear and embrace unshakable faith? Welcome to Pure Mind Think, your sanctuary for divine clarity in a noisy world. Today, we embark on a profound journey to uncover the biblical significance of these events and break the chains of discouragement holding you back. If you're ready to shift from fear to faith, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join us now. Let's begin by standing on a quiet overlook, gazing at the rolling hills of Galilee, where the scent of olive groves carries echoes of ancient prophecies. These lands, where words of divine truth were first etched in stone, are once again at the heart of global attention. Headlines scream Israel launches strikes against Iran. The airwaves buzz with speculation about nuclear ambitions and military escalations, leaving many hearts trembling with anxiety. But what if these events are more than politics? What if they reflect a spiritual battle, as the Apostle Paul reminds us? Not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces in the heavenly realms? As people of faith, we're called to see beyond the surface. The ancient prophets of Israel, alongside wisdom traditions like the meditative practices of Buddhist monks in Kyoto, teach us that earthly conflicts often mirror heavenly dynamics. Iran and Israel, locked in a dangerous dance, embody not just political tensions, but a deeper struggle between hope and fear, faith and despair. Could this be a moment to pause and ask, are we being distracted from a greater truth? In the quiet of your heart, consider the Hindu concept of Shiva's creative destruction, where chaos paves the way for renewal. This invites us to pray, not for one side to triumph, but for peace to soften the hearts of leaders in Iran, to open the eyes of Israel's people to divine security, and to embolden believers in both lands to shine as lights in the darkness. Now, let's turn to the scriptures, where ancient prophecies speak directly to our times. In Jeremiah 49, the prophecy against a modern day, Iran foretells a divine judgment on its leadership for seeking destructive power. The Creator declares, I will break the bow of Elam, the foremost of their might, suggesting a preemptive strike to halt their ambitions. This isn't a call to gloat but a sobering reminder of accountability. Yet, the prophecy ends with hope. I will set my throne in Elam, promising restoration after judgment. Isn't it remarkable how God's heart is always for redemption, even in the midst of correction? Similarly, Isaiah chapter 17 warns of Damascus becoming a ruinous heap overnight, a prophecy unfulfilled in ancient times but chillingly possible today with modern weaponry. Could Syria's current turmoil, with factions like ISIS vying for control, be setting the stage for this ancient word to come alive? These prophecies aren't meant to paralyze us with fear but to awaken our faith. Picture Sarah, a single mother from Ohio, who felt overwhelmed by news of global conflicts. Discouragement crept in, whispering that her prayers were too small to matter. Yet, inspired by the story of Elijah, who battled despair under a broom tree, only to be strengthened by God's still small voice, Sarah began praying daily for peace. She found renewed courage, leading her church's prayer group and witnessing lives transformed. Like Sarah, you may face discouragement, a weapon the enemy uses to silence God's children. Have you ever felt that heavy blanket of doubt, questioning your purpose or magnifying your failures? Satan wants you to focus on delays, compare yourself to others, or feel weary before noon. But here this God is breaking that discouragement off you today. Isaiah chapter 4110 declares, Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isn't that a promise to cling to? God isn't calling you weak for feeling discouraged. Even Elijah, with his mighty mantle, cried out in despair, yet God sent food, a companion in Elisha, and a fresh anointing. Imagine David at Ziklag, betrayed and distressed, yet he rose to unify Israel as its greatest king. Or consider Winston Churchill, battered by World War II's losses, who pressed on to lead Britain to victory. What if your current struggle is the enemy's desperate attempt to stop you from fulfilling a global calling? God is raising you as intercessors, prophets, teachers, and kingdom financiers, not just in your home but across nations. Let's journey inward now, to the quiet of your prayer closet, where the fate of nations is shaped. The Bible teaches that the church is a spiritual deterrent, its prayers forming a shield against disaster. In Abraham's plea for Sodom, he showed how even a few righteous voices can alter outcomes. Across faiths, this truth resonates. Islamic dua supplications can shift destinies, while Jewish tikkun olam calls for repairing the world through righteous acts. Have you explored the meditative prayers of Jainism, seeking inner purity to radiate peace? These practices remind us that our connection to the Creator is our greatest power. So, when headlines overwhelm, step away from the news. Find a quiet space and pray. Pray for wisdom for world leaders, for revival in hearts, for angelic intervention to halt chaos. Could your prayers be the key to averting a crisis? Now, picture the majestic Swiss Alps. Their peaks standing as silent witnesses to empires' rise and fall. These mountains, formed by the Creator's hand, remind us of a power far greater than human conflicts. The God who parted the Red Sea and calmed storms is not intimidated by nuclear threats. Isn't it comforting to know that the Creator of the atoms holds the universe in His grasp? This is our peace. The vision of a nuclear flash in the source text, paired with the message. The church as the nuclear deterrent, calls us to collective prayer. Imagine Michael, a retired teacher in Texas, who felt powerless watching Iran's military posturing. Inspired by Psalm 83's warning of nations conspiring against Israel, he began fasting and praying weekly. His community joined, and they reported a renewed sense of hope and unity. What if your faith could spark such a movement? As we face these signs, Israel-Iran tensions, prophecies of judgment, and global unrest, where do we anchor our hope? Jesus promised, "Upon this rock, I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it." This isn't a guarantee of ease but of victory. The gates of hell, systems of chaos and destruction, are rattling, but they won't win. Could the turmoil we see be a divine invitation to rise as the ecclesia, legislating heaven's purposes? Through prayer? In the serene salt flats of Bolivia, where earth mirrors sky, we're reminded to seek clarity. Creator, show us what's truly happening. This prayer, answered with wisdom, lets us navigate chaos with confidence. Let's bring this prophetic update home to your heart. The ultimate truth is this: the Creator is in control, and He will return. For Christians, this is the glorious hope of Jesus' second coming, not to bring war, but to establish eternal peace, wiping away every tear. Other traditions echo this: Buddhism's Maitreya, a future enlightened being, or Hinduism's Kalki, restoring righteousness. Have you considered how Sikhism's emphasis on selfless service aligns with this hope for renewal? This shared expectation frees us to live with purpose, knowing our story is part of a grander narrative. So, tonight, release your worries to the Creator. Trust not in governments or armies but in His unwavering love. Isn't it liberating to rest in that assurance? As we close, reflect on this: what if your prayers today could shape tomorrow's headlines? What if your faith could break discouragement's hold, not just for you, but for your family, community, and world? Thank you for joining Pure Mind. Think on this sacred journey. If this message has stirred your soul, please like, share it with someone needing hope, and subscribe with the bell for more wisdom to nourish your spirit. Drop a comment below. How has this prophetic update inspired you? Your story lights the way for others. Until we meet again, may you rest in His peace, walk in His strength, and await His return with joyful expectation.